Big round of applause for RoboKind. 3, 2, go.
Hi, I'm Richard Margolin. I'm the CTO co-founder of RoboKind. We make facially expressive robots that help kids with autism learn social and emotional skills. Let me show you what traditional therapy looks like versus what we do. So this is Cole. He's 14 years old. He's been in therapy for a decade. He still can't make eye contact with his therapist. He can't engage. He can't listen to what she has to say. Here's his second session with Milo, our robot. He's leaning in. He's engaged. He's making eye contact, which you can't do with people. He's able to talk to Milo. This is all new behavior for him, and he's actually able to take instruction. Wow. So why does it work? It works because we're more engaging for kids with autism than people. Like you saw, he can't look at his therapist, so he can't engage, he can't learn. He's able to engage with Milo 87.5% of the time versus only 2.5% of the time with his therapist, so he can learn with our robots, and he just can't learn from people. So this is a teacher who had Milo in her classroom for 6 weeks.
Hitting people totally gets the sustained, way of making sure the person looks at you, responds back to you, and then he moves on. How we greeted people before was he'd either bite them or hit them because he didn't know how to get their attention, how to interact with somebody. He's just more comfortable in his own skin.
So from the parent, that's a teacher's perspective. From the parent perspective, I'm going to show you Celia's mom. Her daughter had been kicked out of public school because she had such frequent meltdowns that they just couldn't handle her. She got moved to a therapy center that had Milo, and everything changed for them.
Celia has autism. Those early days, I would not wish it on anyone. Milo was the life changer for us.
You can tell me what to do.
Okay. With Milo, Celia would watch, listen for his question, think about it, and respond. Celia never did that in a normal conversation before. After a lifetime of hearing that your kid can't do what every other kid is doing, to be able to go in and hear improvement is life-changing.
So ultimately, we're able to help change the lives of a lot of kids very quickly. We sell to public school districts. Our business model's real simple. It's $6,500 a year. They get the robot, the curriculum, everything. Ultimately, we save schools a lot of money. In Spartanburg, South Carolina, we saved them $385,000 in their first year by moving several kids out of intensive special ed with a 2-to-1 ratio student to teacher and move them on.
Okay. Well done. Big round of applause. We have a new thing. Instead of me saying you're done, the microphone just tells us.
Easy.
So much nicer.
That's a tough one to cut off.
I got a question. So since you got cut off, what else were you going to say?
All right, we'll take it out of your Q&A time. Adeo, tireless supporter of founders.
Sure. So they saved the money basically by moving several students out of intensive special ed into regular special ed and even part-time mainstream classrooms. The special ed's really expensive. They move them into mainstream classrooms. These kids are learning. They're able to kind of become like real productive people. And then we save them like $60,000 a student.
How many have you sold so far?
We're in over 200 schools.
How many districts?
We're in about 75 school districts.
Have you tested this enough to know if, for lack of a better phrase, there's addiction that happens so that they can then only learn from Milo going forward, and it actually makes it harder over time to interact with humans?
So our experience so far, and we also have done some formal studies, are that the kids engage with the robot and then very quickly start practicing on their own, and they very much want to transfer these skills to interactions with people, which is what's actually important.
What is the sales process like with the school districts?
admittedly, we spent a lot of time educating them initially. Now we're at a point where, because we have recommendations from schools and case studies, we're usually able to go in, and so long as we're meeting with decision makers, we're able to usually make sales within about 2 meetings. And the sales we're starting to make are no longer just kind of single robot tests, but they're starting to be 5 and even 10 unit kind of district-wide implementations.
So how big's the market? Obviously, it addresses many different issues with kids. So can you give us some sort of market
Sure.
numbers?
Yeah. So in U.S. public schools, there's about 1.5 million kids with autism. It's about 1.6% of the public school population, but they actually consume 12.5% of the dollars. So these schools are spending a lot of money on things that are right now pretty ineffective, and we're able to provide them a solution that actually works, helps these kids, and mitigates a lot of cost.
I think you're doing something wonderful. It's probably the most heartwarming pitch that I've seen in the conference. And so why are you doing it? I mean, obviously not necessarily just for money. What's your motivation?
I used to work for another robotics company, and I built very expensive robots. They were real cool, kind of creepy. But a lot of researchers used them, and I saw some possible benefits in autism. These were multi-million-dollar platforms, and no one was creating real product. And if the only thing you've got is some wildly expensive thing and a lot of theory, you're never going to be able to help anyone. And so I wanted to make this real and affordable where these kids actually are.
Okay, let's hear it for RoboKind.